We get put on a different hat now, in the hat of a marketing team. And so we are a 20-person plus marketing team helping Bill Wygant really get out there and learn. We're going to be learning about his new edges in his business. And so if you could give us a little sense on where you're at now and what would be good leads for you and just good referrals of what you're looking for now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Well, I work a lot of open houses. Buyer leads are very useful. It's something I think I do pretty well. I actually have a little bit of extra training in buyer representation. This week, when I was working with the idea of finding somebody in human resources for Ricky Fishman, I realized that really an extension of BNI could be social media. It seems to be based somewhat on the similar principles of connecting people, and so perhaps we could all put a little bit of effort into, if you have a Facebook or LinkedIn account, making sure members of the chapter are all, invited to be part of your larger sphere. Those are, that's one. A house purchase is fairly large, so it doesn't necessarily come along every week. Sometimes people that I meet at an open house, I may actually not begin working with them for 6-8 months at times. Maybe it takes time to develop a relationship. Maybe, like Beth mentioned, it just takes people a certain amount of time to get ready to do this type of thing. So I guess if over time you have confidence in me, then over time, sometime there might be a chance that you would recommend me to somebody to talk to them about buying or selling a home. And I have, some, pretty good. I have a pretty good marketing. It's not a pretty good part. I have really an excellent marketing plan for selling homes. But in this environment, nobody is happy with the prices they're getting. So I've been phasing more of my business into representing buyers because that's where I can get the most effective. What would you call it?
Satisfaction.
Well, satisfaction it is, because I can get a lot better result many times for a buyer. The seller, we've been in a defensive strategy for probably a couple of years now. In other words, everybody's coming in under asking price, and so when you play I used to play basketball a lot, and so if the competitor, if your opponent gets a step on you, and you try to slide sideways to stop him, he's going to beat you to the basket. So what you have to do is turn and find a spot between where he is and the basket, and you have to set up a new kind of defensive posture. And that's what I've been doing with sellers for a couple of years now. And and what I'm trying to do is save them if I think that I'm trying to actually prevent the loss of value to the minimum amount. And so the market will always deliver to you exactly what your property is worth at that moment. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. So the offer comes in, and I'm trying to, I know it's coming in under asking, and I know that we can counter, but I'm trying to stop loss, at a higher level by picking a point to set up a defensive strategy, rather than just, being wholesale run over. And that's happened, and of course people are very unhappy when that happens. But many times people need to sell, and those are the only kind of sellers you really want to represent. Somebody that's moving, has a job change, there's been a change in their circumstances that require, like a divorce, that require them to sell. So those are the kind of sellers you want to represent. But there's some excellent values in the city right now. I mean, I went on tour last Tuesday. This is yesterday, and the days kind of blend together. And there are some, there's a place, Pacific in Buchanan, ocean water views, 1,500 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car parking, it's less than 1.2. It's like 1.195, 1,195,000. Master suite. Remodeled. I mean, that's a very, very good value. And there's values like that all over town. I was in a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home on the weekend. Huge, 2,500 square feet, Noe Valley. This is where the Google buses and all those places. That was $1,400,000. It's the lowest price. I mean, it's a huge home. It's been remodeled. It's got a few little quirky features in the floor plan, but those are great values. I mean, that would probably be 1.7, 1.8. Not all that long ago.
And it's 1.4.
That's 1.4. So, but then the buyers, we go in and I take the district that we're buying in, and I do my market numbers every Monday. I do them Sunday for my open house, but I publish them on my little email drip marketing list every Monday. But I look for kind of a bid-ask ratio. So if, in Pacific Heights, if I see that the property listed at $1 million and it's sold for, the average property sold for like $850,000, $150 below asking, that creates a percentage, and that's the percentage that I go in at for an offer. Because what I'm trying to prevent is the counter, because the buyer for me loses on the counter. In other words, if I don't want the seller I want the seller to go, oh geez, well, it's really not all that much, go ahead. I want them to do that, because if they counter me, then I think my buyer is actually going to end up paying more. I bought my own house this way, okay? And the economies are not large. I'm looking for $5,000, $10,000.
Okay.
I'm looking for something that you can grab onto, but people have an unrealistic expectation. They think it's $1 million. Well, we should get it for $500,000.
Right.
Oh, okay, so I can't do that. But so I try to convince them that, show them the market, show them what the slide between list price and actual sale price is for that area, and I try to get them to go in something around that to prevent the seller from feeling like they need a little more. That all my troubles can be solved if I just sign the contract.
I have a question for you, Bill. You seem to be a pretty savvy marketer to me, and you have a lot of good game plans already. I'm wondering, is there any challenges that you're facing that we can help brainstorm for you, or any sticking points or any professional introductions that we could know about to help even support you more? It could be either a professional in this chapter, like for building up your power team, or even introductions out there in the world that would be helpful for you.
Well, I think I referred already several. I'm using Joanne Fazzino quite a bit. I could use a property manager. I seem to be having quite a need for that. So property manager. Actually, I have an appointment after this. I don't really mean to be a commercial real estate agent, but somebody needs a business being sold. I could, perhaps refer that with and I have commercial realtor perhaps. I think that would also help Jennifer.
Commercial realtor.
Yeah,
Do you do open houses every Sunday?
every Sunday. I just feel like I'm a real estate agent. I ought to be an open house. Open houses are very strange. They're not what you think. I'm exhausted after them. It's only 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm really tired, and it's you have to be present.
Yeah.
So it's the people walk through the door, and you're present,
Yeah.
and you're asking them open-ended questions, and you're not being responsible for the answers. How's your home search going? And you just listen, and and after 2 hours you're tired. So what I do is I sell the client's house on the way in, and I sell myself on their way out.
Plus it's a Sunday.
Huh?
It's on a Sunday, so
Yeah.
it's like a weekend for like people, but your mind and be present. And
Yeah, it probably takes me, if I do it right, it takes me, 4 or 5 working hours to get ready for those 2 hours.
Do we
And
have
I
one
was,
last?
Oh, I was just going to say, I deal a lot with the real estate too, obviously, but the importance of having a realtor that's going to be realistic with your listing price. I had a friend who tried to list her own house. First, she dumped $100,000 in, fixed it up. She never should have. She listed it $100,000 over anything that had ever sold in that neighborhood in a down market, and 6 months later, it's finally selling for 200,000 less.
Wow.
You know, so it is an unbelievable strain on relationships. She just got married. It's very important that you have a realistic realtor that's done his
Yeah.
research,
Yeah.
or else it's a horrific experience.
You cannot let the client have control of this transaction, or you need to not take that transaction.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
okay.
you need to control it, and if you cannot, like, that's why I think I'm gonna be good at short sales.
Okay, I have
Last
one
comment.
to you that I want to recommend that I've heard from a number of realtors that work in Buchanan. And they talk to me about how can I give them referral. By finding out from a client whether they're thinking about buying a house or selling their house somewhere down the road. Because I often ask the question, what's happening next year for you? And at that point, I latch on. And insurance, we should be doing the same thing, because we have insurance, there's a lot of stuff that comes up with that. It's that way with that you start having a relationship earlier in the process,
Yes.
rather than when they want to sell it tomorrow.
No, I
That's
need
more
time
like
to
a
develop
year
the
from now.
relationship. I can provide value right away. I can provide market information weekly.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real low-key way of just introducing myself and keeping in touch. I can, I have a software utility called Clean Offer that allows you to use the non-public side of the mobile listing service. Google Street View is embedded in it. This is a very easy way for.
That way you can unfold the sale slowly with them, so when it's ready to go.
Yeah, you have to have a